Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Anthony Macleod with me here today. Growing up with an autistic twin brother led him to build and ultimately sell an autism therapy business in Phoenix. He is now working as a business coach to help entrepreneurs grow faster and build the value of their business by utilizing the Pinnacle approach. He has his own company now, Higher Peak. Welcome to the show, Anthony.
Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate you having me on.
All right. So tell me about what's a snapshot of your business right now, right? What do you do? What does your company help people with?
Yeah, so I have an agency, a coaching agency practice called Higher Peak Business Coaching. And what I do is really help entrepreneur CEOs and their leadership teams kind of figure out, okay, what's the vision for my company? Where am I trying to go? And then how do I translate that into performance and execution so that we're growing faster, we're building the value of our business, and we're having a lot of fun and being able to sleep at night and things like that too.
Okay.
So I've been, launched that earlier this year after using a similar approach to build my business here in Phoenix, that it was super helpful to me in that journey and was so passionate about the impact that it can have with entrepreneurial teams that I decided to kind of pursue this and being a coach. And so I've been working with a handful of clients, some locally, some in other parts of the country, and having just a blast, helping entrepreneurs on their journey.
Okay, excellent. Well, Lord knows, as a entrepreneur myself, that there's plenty of need for assistance and guidance in the field. But there is a lot of competition in the coaching space and stuff. What sets you apart? What sort of comes easy to you that others seem to struggle with?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, just so important to have a system that you pick and you kind of rally around, and to have a coach who's helping you implement that. So if I can take my Pinnacle hat off for a second, I think that's just a fundamentally important thing. So there are tons of different options out there, and there are tons of different coaches out there. So I think it's really important to kind of pick one that resonates with you, and also a coach that you trust and has the ability to kind of work with you and kind of run to the danger and push you a little bit. The reason I chose Pinnacle when I was running my company, and now as a guide, is I think it's just a really great approach to create a customized operating system that is certainly powered by some foundational principles that Pinnacle brings, but it's really customized to you and your team and where you're trying to go as an organization. It's yours, it's your operating system, and it's not dogmatic and kind of so rigid that it can't be really applying well to where you're trying to go.
Okay, right. So I'm not that familiar with the different sort of managerial programs or styles or operating systems. That I know, like EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, with Gino Wickman's book Traction, but
absolutely.
They've changed over the years too, which is interesting, right? Depending upon how. Can you speak to that a little bit about?
Yeah, these have been around. Yeah, absolutely. These have been around for decades, really. And, they go back as far as the 4 disciplines of execution, or E-Myth in kind of the 80s, 90s, and Scaling Up, which is the Rockefeller habits. And certainly kind of the most widely known one is EOS, which you mentioned, which I actually started using first in my company back in 2019 or so, and then transitioned to Pinnacle. So they've been around for a while, and they certainly have evolved. And I think, what Pinnacle has done is to say, let's look across those different systems that have been around for a long time and create one that's flexible, that's evolving, that's bringing the best components from various systems, and really growing and having that kind of best in class really great system that grows with that company.
Okay, yeah, because that's kind of the requirement of companies nowadays, is that they grow, and as they change, right, you have to have a system that's built for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So someone listening wants to know more or get better at that. What do you suggest they do? What tips would you give them?
In terms of kind of thinking about
selecting one, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's I would start by reading up as much as you can on the different systems and talking to folks who are using the system too. Like I think there are tons of folks who have chosen different systems, and so kind of understanding how that's going for them and what they've learned and kind of what they got out of it, what they wish that was different. You'll start to hear some things that resonate with you, and certainly that's what I did when I was kind of thinking about selecting a system. And frankly, I had never heard of what is a business operating system before. I was like, is that like Oracle software? Like what does that mean? I have no idea what that means. So trying to educate yourself, talk to peers who are kind of in a similar boat as you. I think
It's
that
more
can
than
go a
just
lot.
like standard operating procedures.
Right, right. No, it's a holistic, kind of comprehensive way of thinking about, where are we trying to go as an organization, and then how do we rally our people, our resources, and what's our playbook, and how do we know we're winning? And so it's a really kind of comprehensive approach to figure out how do you achieve that vision.
Nice. Okay. And what are some of the challenges you've had to overcome in this industry?
As a coach, I think
Right.
look, there's people are busy, right? We're all trying to think about, how do I get get through my agenda today, through my calls. Back to back, Zooms or meetings with teams or fires are coming up, right? So a lot of the folks that I work with, and certainly I lived this when I was running my business. There's just things that are pulling you in different directions, right? And fires that are coming up. So the challenge is really how do you, talk to business owners and have them realize that the system that you have today is like perfectly designed to give you the results that you're getting right now. But if you want to have grow faster or build a value or change the way you're spending your time or have some kind of change, you need a better system, right? So trying to and there's always going to be something pulling you in one way, shape, or form. So it's thinking about, okay, how do I now pause for a second, step back, think about how do I work on the business and how can that help me move forward.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of challenges out there that people are going to have to deal with for sure.
Yeah.
So you're working not just with companies here in the Phoenix market, but outside. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a specific goal or size that you want to grow this company? You said you have a number of clients you're working with right now.
Yeah, for me, look, this is, I've been really fortunate to build a great business that I was able to, sell a majority of, and that's, afforded me some freedom to think about how do I want to spend my time, where can I be impactful, where do I have a lot of fun, and so I've been, really grateful to be, pretty selective and picky on, who are the folks that I work with, where I can be, of great value to them, and I can just have a lot of fun doing that. So, I've, I'm purposely being, pretty selective on who those types of mutual fit clients are, and so I'm not trying to have something that's huge. It's really where can I have a lot of fun and add a lot of value.
Right. I mean, some people might think of that as a luxury, right? As being able to be picky with who you want to work with and stuff. But I think it's actually really critical for a proper business model, right? Is to make sure you're only working with people you want to work with.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's hard for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when they're first starting to say no, or to say, here's who we're not, or where we're not going to focus. And, I think that's part of, the essence of strategy is what do you do with your resources? What do you say no to, and who are you not? And so, I certainly think that's part of, my journey as well here.
Right. It took me a little while to learn that one. So now that I do real estate investments, there are other operators who want to partner on some deals, and they understand if it's not good timing or you're not interested in working with them, or that maybe it's not a good fit. But investors, when I turn investors away, sometimes I've had to do that, and I'm just like, yeah, you're just not a good fit for your investment goals for what we're doing, or also I just don't want to interact with you.
Yeah, right.
Your problem every day type of thing, and anyway, so having a filter is very important. That's a very good point.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Well, it sounds like things are going well for you, and you had a successful exit on your other business. How are you planning for the future? Right? Do you have strategies for generating passive income, right, in the future, or what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's, as you kind of think about prosperity and what is that, I think it's important for every person to define what that means for them, and that's going to look differently, look different for different people and different ages and stages and priorities, right? So, I think for me, it's certainly a big focus on supporting the company I built, Ally Pediatric Therapy, I'm still a significant owner in that business, although I did sell a majority. So, certainly putting on my investor hat as opposed to the operator hat with
Right.
supporting that team, and so that's a big part of thinking about my future and the wealth that I generate. Another part is certainly thinking about continuing to build the coaching practice that I'm working on at higher peak, and really working with great clients. So certainly those are the kind of the two primary areas that I'm focused, as well as some other areas, but those are the two main areas.
Okay, excellent. So what are your plans for higher peak? I mean, circling back to that sort of question, in like a year or 2 to 5 years, where do you see higher peak being?
Yeah. So, I think getting to a full kind of practice or full book is kind of where I'm trying to get. And so,
Okay.
I think right now I'm working with five or so clients, and getting
Right.
to in that kind of 15 to 20 is really where I'm looking to be from a sweet spot, and have them
Okay.
be really good fit clients.
Okay. So more of a boutique style or
Absolutely.
size. You're not trying
Absolutely.
to grow into a huge
No.
develop your own program and all that. Okay.
No. No.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I think you get deeper, more meaningful projects and relationships that way. So kudos for that. That's very cool.
Thanks.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit more about the Pinnacle sort of process and why you uh, why you chose or landed on that one, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I was running my business originally using EOS, and so used that for a number of years. And EOS kind of changed how they were doing things a little bit. So the coach that I was using, and that which I was a client of, kind of made the change from EOS to Pinnacle. And so as they did that, I started to learn more about, okay, what is Pinnacle? Why is it a little bit different than
Right.
EOS? Some of the things I talked about. So we as a company started to make the change to adopting more kind of principles from Pinnacle, and it just really resonated with me. And I was seeing the impact there, and as I thought about making the leap to start coaching other companies and other CEOs, a lot of the kind of principles of Pinnacle really resonated with me in terms of building upon what EOS and Scaling Up and some others have done, in terms of having a really comprehensive program that helps companies define where they're trying to go, and how are they going to get there, and how are they going to execute upon it. But it's in a way where it's more flexible, it's less dogmatic, it's more fun to use,
Okay.
it's customizable. You bring the right tool at the right moment for that client. So that's what really resonated with me.
Are there particular types of businesses or industries that you feel well suited
Yeah.
to coach? Or what's your ideal client then?
Yeah, sure. My ideal client is, someone who, a lot of my clients have bought a business, right? So
Okay.
acquired a business, and now are saying, okay, I want to go build this. I want to make it really valuable. I want to make it special. And they might be a newer CEO or a younger CEO. And so that's kind of a typical profile for me. So, from a kind of size and industry perspective, I've had clients start as small as 1 or 2 million of revenue. That can be, challenging from just from a dollar standpoint. So typically they're a little bit larger, north of 5 million in revenue. And in terms of industries, I think the types of companies that can benefit from Pinnacle, I think almost every industry really can. For me, I have a background in healthcare and multi-site healthcare, so I have a few clients that are kind of in
Yeah.
or around that area. So I tend to work with folks like that. But it is, I think really any industry can benefit from this, as long as you
Sure.
have a real growth mindset of like, hey, I want to build something that's special. I want to invest in my team. I want to think about how do I make a really great company, and I want to grow something. I think that's the most important part.
Okay. Thank you. I guess I want to ask you about what you wish you knew earlier or something, but first, I guess I want to know a little bit more about uh, why you chose. Well, sorry, no, I'm not going to get into that. Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Might have to edit that out for a change. Okay, anyway, so go ahead and tell me about looking back at what you wish you knew earlier on. That a lot of these younger entrepreneurs. Well, that was my question. Sorry, it was more about affordability. Do you do any sort of fractional sort of services, or is it all fee for service for your coaching?
Yeah, it's
right?
all fee for service. So I typically
Okay.
structure it as a monthly kind of engagement. That is, there's no contract. So, if I'm not adding value, it's not working. It's completely something that we can part ways. So it's if I should be well delivering well above what I'm charging in order for it to make
Okay.
sense.
But with the younger company, it just seems like maybe they couldn't afford your services then, which is when they really need your services. So it's kind of a interesting balance. Wasn't sure if you ever offer services for equity instead of fee.
It's something I've certainly have discussed with some folks, and I'm looking at a few advisory board type positions where I'd be helpful in them as they continue to grow and
Okay.
get to that point where they would be kind of that more ideal client. But I love supporting folks who have a vision and want to build something special, and so love to try to find ways to be helpful to them however I can.
Okay. Okay. So what do you wish you knew earlier about building wealth and success?
Yeah, I think when I was first starting out of college, I started out in investment banking as an M&A advisor, and I thought I was just going to be an investment banker or go into private equity or be an
Okay.
investor. And as I started working with these really interesting companies or really special niche businesses, sometimes they were more valuable or more profitable than their industry peers. Just seeing the amount of impact and wealth that they were creating for their themselves, their family, their
Right.
teams, the impact they would then have in their communities. I think that was the kind of real aha moment for me of, geez, there's a different path here to creating wealth, and I think I want
Okay.
to be an entrepreneur someday. And so that kind of led me to really try to say, okay, I want to get some experience on what does it mean to lead a team and to run a business, and eventually kind of felt ready to do that, and stumbled on the world of entrepreneurship through acquisition or search funds. And I just it's pretty amazing to think that you can go buy a business that's cash flow, generating cash flow, and is profitable, and you can really turn that into something special. And you can do that with
Right.
you know government programs that are meant to support
Right.
small business growth in America. It's just a really unique program that I wish I knew more about that when I was doing it.
Okay.
And it's just, there's so many different paths to entrepreneurship or business ownership. It's something I'm really glad I made the leap, but I wish I knew it earlier.
Okay. Excellent. That's a great answer. Thank you. So as a real estate guy, right? So I started investing in real estate and stuff, and it wasn't until I started investing in the bigger deals myself, right? I still invest in other people's deals as a limited partner, but once you're a general partner, you're basically running a business now, and you're helping a lot of people with real estate, right? Real estate's the greatest wealth building vehicle on earth. It helps more people get to be millionaires than anything else. But there's kind of a cap in a sense of how much people generate with real estate over their lifetime, that maybe their home or some other property or something. But besides that, it's up to about the $25 million range. And then almost all of the people who grow wealth beyond that do it through their business. And so kind of what I do is a little bit of both, right? It's a little bit of
Mhm.
real estate and a little bit of business. Yeah, so that's where I think the really big gains are, is because you can bring more personal approaches to it. It's more ingenuity, more you're solving problems, right? You're fulfilling
Absolutely.
needs for people and trying to figure out the best way to do that. And that's the beauty of it. And
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
love
think
it.
I think so many folks who have built value as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, then do have some kind of investments in real estate, and I think it's for that reason too of
Right,
both can be pretty impactful.
right, right. That's one of the other things I seem to harp on lately is alternative investments are real estate falls into that, right? If it's not stocks and bonds or whatever, it's an alternative investment. When you look at all the most successful investors and endowments and everything, they have the majority of their stuff in alternatives, which kind of makes that the main thing, right?
Yep.
So anyway, okay, so any advice, one piece of advice you'd maybe give to someone looking to achieve similar success?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Thinking about if what does success mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? Kind of why do you want that? What are you trying to do with it? I think having a clear view of that can help inform what is the path forward? And there are so many different paths forward on that, whether it's, I certainly could have stayed in investment banking and pursued finance and private equity. But for me, I got a lot of value in building a company. I had a lot of fun doing that. I was serving a population that was really important to me, right? So, that was, fulfilling, a lot of different kind of areas for me that made me fulfilled and happy. And I was really proud of what we were building. So I think, having an understanding of kind of what is important to you and kind of what's your unique ability and how do you kind of marry those two together in order to do something that's really meaningful to you. Because if it's not, like, all of that is hard, right? Like building a business is really hard and trying, and there's so many ups and downs, and everyone thinks it's up and to the right, but it is not. So having something that's really important to you and kind of a mission that ties to that helps you really kind of keep pushing and have the grit and resolve to keep pushing through that.
Right. That's another really great point, that a lot of people feel like they don't want to work for somebody else. They're sick of working for somebody else. So they want to start their own business, and they realize they're going to work like 10 times harder.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's so worth it. And, I think kind of just building on that too is, I think as entrepreneurs, like, I know I kind of fell into the trap of, seeing other success stories or, case studies or things like that, or even, podcasts, right? And everything just looked so easy. Like, how are they doing this? And like,
all
I'm
these overnight
struggling.
successes,
right.
That took 10 years.
Yeah, and I think I just want to make just remind folks that it's always looking from the outside in, it looks easier than it really is. It's right. Certainly a journey for all of us, and there are challenges and ups and downs, and so the things that we're all struggling with as entrepreneurs, trust me, we all are, right. and so you're right there in it too.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Anthony. So for our listeners who want to learn more about you or connect, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can go to my website is www.higherpeak.co, so HIGHER, or you can find me on LinkedIn with my name, Anthony Macleod. I'm happy to connect with others who are want to learn more about Pinnacle or entrepreneurship, or however I can be helpful to folks.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Anthony, for joining me today, and very much appreciate you sharing your story and insights to success and impact here.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.